I'm going to tell you 3 stories about emergency management and business continuity management in Asia from my own experience. So here we are at the waterfront, Copthorne Waterfront Hotel, and I'm going to take you on a tour around Asia in the next 30 minutes. Asia is a pretty big place, 2.5 billion people here, 40% of the world's population. The United Nations says this is the most disaster-prone area of the world. When I'm explaining the geography of Asia to people in the United States who don't know much about it, I have to explain that it covers 6,500 miles east to west and 6,500 miles north to south. That's 42 million square miles. It ranges with countries from a billion, almost a billion, down to over here in the lower right-hand corner is East Timor with only 1 million people, even smaller than, we found something smaller than Singapore. There are 2,000 languages and dialects spoken in Asia. So you can imagine, and of those 2,000, 750 of them are spoken in Indonesia alone. All right? Shesh, I guess, can confirm that, right? So you can imagine, if you have 750 languages in your country, I'm from the United States, so let's just take the United States. You know that there are 50 states in the United States. And if every single one of the people in those states, all 50 of them, each one of the states spoke 15 different languages in each state, that would be what, 50 times 15, that's about 750 languages. That's like Indonesia. Only there's one difference. In Indonesia, in the United States, all of those states are on one continent, right? And in Indonesia, it's 17,000 islands. So the idea of trying to organize emergency management and emergency response and to explain concepts like IDLH, immediate danger to life and health, or UZAR, under urban search and rescue, or to explain in business continuity, I love this, the BSI out here they have a standard, BS 25999, that Henry mentioned this morning. There's a term in there, maximum tolerable period of disruption, right? How long do you think it would explain maximum tolerable period of disruption in 750 languages, right? That's the challenge in Indonesia. There's one thing that's not big in our part of the world, and that's salaries and compensation. The starting salary of a fireman in India is 3,000 Indian rupees per month. That's 61 US dollars. Now, just to put that in perspective, the dues for the International Association of Emergency Managers in the United States, the annual dues are 175 US dollars. We complained when we started our council out here that was going to be way too much for people in Asia. So they said, well, how much do you want? I said, we'll take half that. The dues are 80 US dollars per year. And even at $80 per year, we would be asking a guy in the Indian Fire Service to spend more than a month's salary to join the IEM. And it's very difficult to explain this to people in the United States who think, well, 175 bucks, for professional development, no big deal, right? So we have a challenge out here when you're trying to convert currencies and amounts to something that people in this part of the world can deal with. All right, so the first trip I'm going to take you on a trip. There's Asia, right? And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Philippines. We're going to go to a place called the Lipa Techno Park in Laguna Province. Laguna Province is outside of Manila. Manila is the 15th largest city in the world, with approximately 9 million people. Laguna Techno Park, Lipa, was built by Mitsubishi Corporation, the Japanese industrial company. Was built as a duty-free zone for Japanese companies. So everything that's made inside there is exported duty-free. And in there's this company, HiCap, and what they do is they have about $1 billion invested in this plant. This plant has been expanded 4 times. Each one of these stripes here, you can see that's another a couple $100 million that has been invested in that plant. It employs 6,000 people. They operate on 2 shifts a day, 2 12-hour shifts. The average monthly wage is 120 US dollars per month for the people who work there. They are mostly young women. The reason they're mostly young women is that the work inside this plant requires high manual dexterity, and guys my age simply can't do it. This is what they make inside there. They make disk drives inside there, including this 1.8-inch disk drive. All right? And this is the only high-cap plant in the entire world that makes that disk drive. It's the only one, all right? So one day in 2006, September of 2006, a little over 3 years ago, I'm standing outside that plant and I'm sort of staring off into space on a break. I'm there doing a risk assessment and developing a crisis management plan, business continuity plan, and I look off in the distance and I see this large hump out here on the horizon. And so I said to somebody, what's that? Oh, that's a volcano. Is that right? Now that's not the answer that you're typically looking for when you're doing a risk assessment, right? You're not looking for volcanoes nearby. So I said, oh really, is it active? Oh yeah. Okay, well when was it last active? January. Oh, okay, so it's recent event. So I go home and I look it up, and it's called the Taal volcano, T-A-A-L. And when you go home and look it up on Google tonight, you'll discover that it's one of the world's decade volcanoes.